Hey there, and good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday to you. It is the Darren Clark Real Estate Show, episode number 7. It is March the 6th. It's already March. Feels like just yesterday we were celebrating the new year, and now here we are in March. I was talking on Twitter with some friends the other day, and I mentioned, if I say to you February 28th, your immediate thought is gray, gloomy, cold, and you wouldn't have been far off. But if I say March 1st, all of a sudden things get a little greener. The sun comes out. Things start to get warmer. We're moving into that spring break period and on towards the summer. It's a beautiful time to be in Texas, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great, great spring. All right, so it is the Darren Clark Real Estate Show. If you've never tuned in before, what we do here is we talk about real estate. Sometimes I get off on a tangent because that's me. I get off on a tangent. But most of the time, we're talking about real estate, how things affect the real estate market. We talk about, the good things, the bad things, the things yet to come. If you're watching us live, you're on Facebook, and I really appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you like the page. I really appreciate that. You'll get some updates throughout the week on things that are happening, and more information as well as ways to contact me when you need a real estate agent. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe and hit that alert bell so that you get notified when we update our videos. We add new content every week. Or maybe you're listening on the podcast, and make sure you subscribe to that. So today, we're going to talk about something that's been in the news for a year. You may not be aware. If you aren't, you've been living in a cave, but the world is undergoing a pandemic of historic proportions, right? We are all aware of the COVID-19 pandemic, or as my kids say, we're living in a pandemonium. It's a pandemic, and COVID-19 is very real. And I don't mean to joke about it because it's hit people very seriously, very hard. Me in particular, I've lost a cousin, I've lost a best friend. Countless friends have been sick, hospitalized, on ventilators, and it has been a serious time. So we're going to talk a little bit about how that has affected the real estate market. And you might say, Darren, why are we talking about COVID? This is a real estate show. Well, yesterday I got my first of the 2 vaccines. I got the Moderna vaccine, went and got shot in the arm. And it just made me think that, COVID has affected every part of our lives. Why shouldn't it have affected real estate? And I got to thinking about the way we do things differently because of COVID. And I want to share that. But first, I want to talk to you a little bit about how it's affected the market. So when we think of COVID, we think of everything shutting down. But in truth, let's take a look at 5-year sales. And what you'll see, and I don't know if you can see my mouse here, but moving from left to right, we're starting in 2016. And you see this little oscillating pattern, right? This real pretty little, almost like a EKG or something. And this has been the historic trend in the market. We see sales go up during the summertime, drop off during the winter time, back up during the summer, drop off during the winter. And what we're seeing is a slow, steady, gradual climb. And this is a healthy real estate market, right? It's following a predictive pattern. It's going up, and then all of a sudden COVID hits and we would expect the bottom to fall out, right? Actually, the opposite. That's this spike right here, July of 2020, as we saw, unprecedented sales in our market. Now, if you see it's gone all the way down here, now part of that is that this goes all the way through March the 6th, but it's showing the stats for March. Well, we've only had 6 days in March, so it's going to be kind of low. Watch for this to come back up by the end of the month. And we just see this pattern in this big spike. So from a real estate sense, it really hasn't affected the market per se. If anything, it gave it a little bit of a shot in the arm. No pun intended. So you may think, okay, well, what about prices? How has COVID affected prices on the market? And what you see is just a real healthy, once again, looks like an EKG going up a staircase, a real healthy market all the way through COVID. This dip that you see here was actually in spring of 2019. So this was a year before COVID. But truthfully, prices continue to rise. So from a market standpoint, COVID really hasn't affected us that much. What it has done is affected the way that we do things. In the traditional real estate market, You would call me, say, hey, I want to go look at a house. I'd meet up with you at the house, or we'd go there together. We'd open the door and we'd walk through the house. You'd want to know closet space. You'd open closet doors. You'd open bathroom doors, turn the lights on, turn the lights off. And what you're doing is you're spreading germs throughout the house. Well, before, we'd go in afterwards with a can of Lysol, maybe wipe some things down. We didn't really worry about it. But when COVID came along, it really changed the way that we see things. So we implemented some different strategies. We looked at some different ways to keep people safe. So what are some of those changes that have been caused by COVID-19? Well, first and foremost, we're all aware that we wear masks. We wear masks when we go in people's houses. We wear masks when we go in restaurants. And yes, the governor of Texas has lifted the mask mandate. But what that means is the government's no longer telling you you have to wear a mask. They're not telling you that you can't wear a mask. And it's still being advised for safety reasons. But we've worn masks. We've all worn them over the last year. We know what it's like. I don't need to tell you. But what it does is it just changes our ability to relate with each other because our facial expressions are different. So that's been something as realtors that we've had to overcome. But we also ask our clients to wear masks during our showings, right? Because we don't want to spread those germs. Another thing that we've done is we've added hand sanitizer and like cleansing wipes, Lysol wipes, that type of thing to our toolkit in our car. And the reason is we need to be able to wipe things down after we have touched them. When we've had open houses, we've gone through after each visitor and wiped surfaces down. We just try to maintain that cleanliness. This is something that we didn't do before. It'd be great practice, but it wasn't something that was absolutely necessary. And open houses changed, right? We used to have a lot of open houses, and now they've kind of changed to go virtual. You see a lot of virtual open houses out there. You see video tours of homes instead of opening them for 2 to 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon. Now, there are still open houses out there, but they are fewer in number. So we've gone virtual. You can see more stuff on the internet. You can do your shopping. And now as real estate agents, instead of walking you through the homes, we're guiding you through a video. It's a little different, but it has worked. I mean, we have not seen a slowdown in the market. If anything, we've seen an uptick. But I think one of the biggest changes that we've seen is the enhancement of remote closing options when it comes to the title company. Designated Title, which works out of the Century 21 office, they have all sorts of remote closing options, whether they meet you at your office. They even have an online closing option. And we had Brandy on the show about a month ago, and she talked a little bit about that. But you don't have to go to the title office anymore and sit in the room and sign all the papers. There are other options. And those are some of the changes that we've had from COVID-19. It has affected us. It's affected every walk of life. But like I said, when we talk about the market itself, let's get rid of some of these graphics here, go back to that market. When we look at the market, we had a bump. So COVID has really boosted the real estate market. Now you might say, why is that? Well, we've had a lot of people lose jobs, right? And when they lose jobs, they find new jobs and they need to move. And so that's one explanation. Another is a lot of jobs have gone from in-office jobs to remote jobs. And being in a remote environment, you're no longer tethered to that 20 to 30 minute radius to your work. Now you can move to that place where you always wanted to live, and you can telecommute to work. So we have seen a lot of movement. And if you're one of those people that's thought about moving, but you thought the market was bad, feel free to give me a call. I would absolutely love to visit with you and talk to you about that. Here's some contact information for me. You can reach out to me at all of these methods. I like to joke that I can't interpret smoke signals or semaphore, but just about every other communication office, communication method, feel free to reach out to me. And I look forward to helping you. Some big news this week. I talked about getting a vaccine, but more stuff has happened than that. This week we had our Judge Fight Real Estate Awards ceremony, and that's always exciting because you get to see people win awards and that absolutely just exalt their performance for the year, because we had some people just do some magnificent numbers and they won awards this year, and congratulations to them. But the one that I want to share is kind of one that I played a very, very small part in, but a part in it, and that is the Century 21 Weatherford Regional Office won the Century 21 President's Hall of Fame Award. Now, this is given out by Century 21 Global. This is the parent company, the big guys, right? So we had the president of Century 21 on at our awards presentation, and the Weatherford office won this award. And what it does is it recognizes not only volume, because yes, out of the Weatherford office, we sell a lot of houses. We have a lot of transactions. But it also recognizes our quality of service and a quality of service award. And we have won the President's Award 10 of 12 years, including this year. And because of that, that puts us in the President's Hall of Fame. And we were the only office in Century 21 to win that award this year. So congratulations to my compadres in the Weatherford office. It's a very, very big deal. Okay, so how about that market for this week? Let's go check that out. And kind of what we talked about with the market. Remember last week we had a big rebound from the weather week, right? So during the weather week when everything was shut down, we saw huge dips in new listings, in solds, in pending contracts. We saw huge dips, and last week we saw a big rebound. And what you see is that rebound continues for this week. We have 1,842 new listings this week. That's a big deal. Lots of new people putting their houses on the market. If you're in the market to buy a house, that's good news for you because inventory has been low over the last year, and we are starting to see some more houses come on the market. We have 3,863 houses under contract, and you can see there that includes all the different ways that a house can be under contract, be it under a kick-out, an option, a contingency, or it is pending. That's almost 4,000 houses being sold this week in the DFW area or in Texas. And then 2,429 sold. That's actually a little bit of a drop. And that we may see a couple of drops there as, remember, houses go under contract. They're under contract for 30 days or so, and then they're sold. Well, we didn't have a lot of houses go under contract a couple of weeks ago, so expect to see some sold drops over the next couple of weeks. But the market is hopping. It is a great time to buy and sell real estate. That's going to be the show for this Saturday. I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you check us out next week. Working on a big announcement for next week, so make sure you come and check that out. Be next Saturday at 9 o'clock right here on Facebook Live. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and have a great week.